You guys have named a lot of my favorite parts, but the Andes coming into every scene.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd on the Podcast you didn't need, but you deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome. Another day, another event to continue our anniversary celebration. Last episode, we covered Shaun of the Dead, and now we will be continuing our event with the second installment of the Cornetto Trilogy, Hot Fuzz!
Yeah, boy!
So, let's get to it. Your hosts today are me, Caitlin.
I'm Tom.
Yarb.
No.
What?
Yes! And I'm Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation that is powered by
Patreon. Oh.
As a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun perks like you get bonus episodes that nobody else hears, like the Nerd On Extra, where we'll break down a topic in 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes we go longer, but not usually. And you get early access to these episodes.
Wow,
you get
fresh wound.
you get access to you get early access to our merch. When we have new merch, we just like, hey, you get it first. You get access to secret channels in our Discord server that nobody else gets access to. It's just you, other Nerd On Nation members, and us. It's a fun time over there.
Just 4 quarters, baby.
4 quarters. We
Justice.
We are super close to our next goal, and we're excited to get there. But check that out, nerdon.tv/Patreon, and check out that Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. And a huge shout out, an honorable shout out to Apogee, Odyssey, and Embody Audio.
Yep.
Shout out to Jaren over there at Embody. He's a
We
dope
killed
guy.
Tom today.
Yep.
We broke the internet. It's Tom.
I'm the internet.
Yeah.
But that is the housekeeping. Shall we get on to this hot,
Topic.
fuzzy episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Bring on the fuzz.
I've never seen something so ham-fisted. Anyways, before we get into that, it's an episode where we are covering one particular thing, a completed work.
Yes, sir.
So at the end of the show, we are going to be rating it. So right now, our first segment of the show is Guess That Grump.
Oh, did you ever roll back to shooting 2 guns out of the window? You ever did a car chase shooting 1 gun out of the window? You ever point a gun in the air and shoot at the sky whilst yelling?
Narp?
So if you're brand spanking new to Nerd On and what these shows are about, listen to the episode right before this so you can get a little bit of a head start, because this is a trilogy. This is our anniversary. Welcome. And also you're welcome for that song.
Should we give them time to listen to that and watch the show?
I say-
watch the
Well,
movie?
you just do it right now, and we're back.
Well, also, on your favorite podcast listening app, make sure you just listen to that last segment we did in half speed, so you can get the fullest.
Fullest of
Oh, my
effects.
Lord.
Post it on the TikToks.
Get the
and
lyrics.
duets, and
Oh,
Musicallys.
Snapchats.
Anyway,
So right now we're going to go around the table and
Instagram.
we're going to guess who's going to have the lowest score from 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
No matter how high the number is, the lowest one will be the grump for the week. And since I always explain, Corey has to take notes. Josh, you should go first.
Everybody has a reason not to answer.
Caitlin's away from the mic.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one because I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to say Tom.
No. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Because Caitlin was far away
that's
from the
never
mic.
going to go away.
Nope.
No.
No.
And
One
we're all,
for Tom.
And we're all writing. We all have written down our numbers somewhere.
Yes.
I should have
Or
this
if we're
number
Caitlin, she
tattooed on my
slaps
body.
the table, and that's her writing it down.
I'll do it underneath.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
it's an audio
It's too
show,
late.
guys.
I'm aware. But now you all know.
Guy, one person does something, guys. What a 6th grade teacher thing of you to do, Tom.
Guys.
You guys.
I
Fingers up.
think it's going to be Corey.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I made a song for you too.
And then for me, as the last person before our next part, I think it's going to be Caitlin.
Okay.
Oh my God. I heard
Sorry.
like the barrel
Yeah.
in your chest
Yeah.
of howling laugh.
I heard the end of your lungs.
I heard your diaphragm.
I heard the end of your lungs.
My diaphragm laughed at Tom just now. So yeah.
Like I know what you might sound like if you were dry heaving, if you were like drinking too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, this is tough. Sorry, my note also has my score on it. I don't want Josh to peek.
What you do is you return.
Yeah, I should have done that.
You
I should've
return.
done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I did. No.
Okay, there we go. This is a tough one because I do think Tom is surprisingly going to love this one more than all. I think this is going to be the top one of the three.
Guys, you act like I rate things. I think I have one of the highest ratios.
No, because my like on paper, I think people would have said Shaun of the Dead is your favorite, but I think this is going to be your favorite one.
Oh, okay.
It's a little more stylized than the other two, but I just think this is going to be, you're going to rate it higher than I would suspect out of the three. So I'm going to go with, I can't vote myself.
I'm sorry. What?
I think I'm going to vote it higher. I do think it's going to be me though.
May.
I'll say Tom, because I definitely know it's not going to be you guys.
Caitlin, do the laugh. Oh God. Okay, Bakugo.
With that, are you sitting there at home going, just let Corey vote for himself because he's right? Yeah, we don't do that. Or you're sitting there going, they skipped Josh again. Nobody's voting for Josh, and I think it's going to be Josh. Well, guess what? Put your money where your mouth is, bruh. You could be a part. You could be a part of the Guess That Grump poll if you join the Nerd On Nation. For how much, Tom?
4 frickin' quarters,
4
man.
quarters. 4 quarters. It's less than a cup of coffee, guys, a month. So you could sit there and be like, I vote for Josh. I think Josh is going to be, or Caitlin, whatever it is. And guess what? If you get it right, you get to be the grass-fed Gatorade, guessing greater, secret shadows, murdering, flower,
Good.
Yarpin. Good, Yarpin, guesser, grumper. I'm sorry, Julie. I'm so sorry that you have to do that, but you're amazing. Yeah. So with that, the nation has spoken. And they picked Caitlin.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, nice misdirect.
by like a lot.
Again, it's a.
Oh my Lord. I'm so excited.
I'm also pretty pumped about
don't clip that.
how Tom is commenting on your breath control when his is literally like a trademark sound we have.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Anyway,
it is.
and with that, the order goes as followed. When we get to the end of the show for our ratings, Josh, you will be first, followed by me with 1 vote, and then it's a coin toss.
It's a coin
Which
toss.
is very different from a coin toss in that it's
made
not
it
a real
up.
coin between Tom and Caitlin.
Oh, I'm going to go last.
Wow.
And then I'll give them shout outs, baby.
Okay. All right. Cool.
All right.
I love a good misdirect.
It doesn't sound
Thank you.
like that's direct. Okay.
You're just like ham-fisting that misdirect all over the place.
Aren't I?
Is she though?
Is he?
Am I?
Doth protest too much.
Who could say?
So with that, we're going to go into our next 2 segments or the next segment of the show, which is the complete spoiler of this segment, which is going to be our initial reactions and our first impressions. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I had previously watched Shaun of the Dead. I don't believe I can't remember if I watched that right when it came out or not. Anyway, big fan of that. So when this came out, I was like, Nate, we're going. We went and saw this in the theaters and loved it. I think it's the next evolution of this trilogy, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg taking it up another step. I enjoyed seeing Nick Frost play a different character than he usually gets to play, to like a very, very like warm, joyful
To like
extent.
Still
cut.
honest, but
Yeah,
like,
still honest in a different way.
But now he's a cold cut steel surgical man.
Sorry, not Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
Oh, Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. I mean, because in Shaun of the Dead, he was kind of like I don't give a shit schlubby, but he's also funny and is cool in under any situation.
It's the old Jon Favreau.
This is very like childlike innocence and just very excited about everything. But yeah, to your point too, Simon Pegg getting to go from the schlubby guy who is having trouble growing up to the guy who can't relax, which was you can't, was it switch off?
You can't switch off.
Yeah. I think this was a wonderful, wonderful movie, a brilliant addition that builds upon Shaun of the Dead, and I would have to say probably my favorite editing in the entire trilogy. We'll get into that in a little bit. So I like the movie.
Oh.
Josh, Caitlin?
I'll go. Just because I just got to be true to my brand.
I love this.
Yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's, I ate up every frame, like almost quite literally.
Dalton, baby?
Timothy Dalton. I mean, there's just, take Shaun of the Dead and amplify it. And there was a lot. This movie has no right to be, in my opinion, as good as it is for $12 million. Like, I was just like, whoa.
I completely disagree for the right reasons of, all y'all $250 million movies, be better.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
amount
be better.
of, but I mean, just anyway, I'll say that for later. Love this movie, love everything about it, and it was interesting to get to watch it under a quote critical eye for this episode.
Nice.
No, I dig it. Next.
Yeah.
Me, Caitlin? Is that yes? This is an audio show.
Yeah.
I
I just stared at him very
I
intensely.
know. I was like, okay. I'm pretty sure this
Julie's
is
sitting there going, it's not an audio show.
it is a anyways.
Yep.
It's a simulcast.
Yes.
But I would say Hot Fuzz was the one that actually caught my eye with Edgar Wright. Because I think Shaun of the Dead for me came out a time after all of the scary movies had already dried up.
Yeah,
As
that's
the
what
way
you're talking
including
about.
at the
Yeah.
same time as some.
Yeah, the Wayans brothers weren't part of them. So they were only part of the first two, and then I was just like, oh god, and then there was a superhero movie, an epic movie, and I was like, So a satire was not something that was catching my eye, but Hot Fuzz, the way it was marketed, was not done in a satire way, but it was like from the guys who got Shaun of the Dead, and I was like, okay, cool, it's a different type of movie. It looks actiony and it looks insane, crazy, fun. High octane action. So I was like, I could be in for this. So when I finally got a chance to watch it, I did not watch this in theaters. Fun fact, I did not watch any of the Cornetto trilogy in theaters. So I watched it all afterwards. And Hot Fuzz was the one that I absolutely adored, mainly because I found it being the one that kind of had a lot going for it. It's multiple stories. I mean, so this is always the thing. There's the text of someone going to a new place, and that's when the narrative starts.
Fish out of water kind of situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, the quote unquote, like any narrative, quote unquote, in a good way, is that like the status quo is and status quo is one thing. Man goes to a new place, or someone comes into the current place, and then the status quo changes.
Is upset. Yeah.
That's like 101 storytelling, and that's what happens. But then it has a lot more going on underneath, and then a lot being said at the same time.
Yeah.
So at the time when I watched it, I absolutely kind of ate it all up, and I absolutely liked that there was two storylines going on at the same time in a way. We'll get to that later on, but I found this to be very, 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 very enjoyable. Whether you're watching for all of the commentary and dialogue that's being said about the things within the genre, it isn't hitting you over the head because they're doing a really good job in the Scooby-Doo. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the fun thing with Scooby-Doo. It's like it does, talk about itself in the genre. But no, I don't know what else to say that we haven't tread upon with Shaun of the Dead more than just, I also like to Corey's point where it's like you get to see Simon Pegg go from schlubby, identifiable character to like, hard-boiled cop. So that's just very enjoyable to see that flip.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, real quick, it was nice to hear Wright and Pegg talk about these movies of like, people keep calling them like parodies and satires. In our minds, they're homages to these movies that we grew up on and love. And it's just, if you think about it, they can't.
It's their flavor of it.
It's their flavor. It'd be like expecting somebody to do something that they're not good at. It's like they're good at comedy. Like
they don't. The thing that sometimes can get lost in a satire is that the stakes are removed because the joke is there. And the thing that I think Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright really walk a fine line on is the stakes aren't removed, and they can still comment on how kind of ridiculous it is, but there's still a shootout happening in this moment, and it's very real.
It's if you think about it, like it's not Deadpool and it's not Monty Python.
Yeah,
where Deadpool kind of breaks itself because it's satirizing what it's in, and then Monty Python is more of like, yeah, you are just kind of watching their take on it. Where like Edgar Wright still and Simon Pegg have a way where it's like, I'm still telling you the story, and you're still going to want that satisfying end resolution to the story. And so that's something I just really enjoy. And to me, also just to add on top, Hot Fuzz is what I think about when I think of the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
Like that's the movie. So
I feel like I want to pat myself on the back just a little bit for being like, I think this is going to be Tom's one.
Kaylin?
I love this movie.
Ah.
I love it so much.
Like hard.
I
It
want some more
hurts.
of
Yeah.
it.
I never saw any of the Cornetto trilogies in theater. I saw them definitely retroactively. I was scared of Shaun of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Fuzz was like everything I ever wanted. Because it's like you're coming from the end of like the chosen one. He's working in London and everything, being the chosen one, and then he gets ripped from that to go do slice of life, which is one of my favorite genres. I love slice
Can
of
confirm.
life. And then with that comes
Not too much
all of
spoilers.
this. Oh yeah. It comes this like dark underlying plot that happens as well that you're totally not expecting at all, and the twists and turns that they take are just so don't make sense but definitely do. And I love juxtaposition so much, and this is just filled with it. So
Yarp.
I love it. Yarp, yo.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Roy.
with that, we move on to our next two segments,
Yeah.
which are going to be our brief synopsis and our production. The brief synopsis will be given to you by me. I forgot because everyone was looking at me. I was like, why is everyone looking
Yeah.
at me?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is off Google. Hot Fuzz is a 2007 buddy cop action comedy film directed by Edgar Wright, who co-wrote the script with Simon Pegg. Thanks for telling me about the movie. Starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Jim Broadbent. The film centrays
Trace.
on
Centrays.
two police officers investigating a series of mysterious and gruesome deaths in a West Country village. That's it.
Which was actually Edgar Wright's hometown.
Nice.
Shout out.
Ba-da-ba.
Yeah, with that. Oh, yeah, you're going to say something?
I was just gonna say, when you said buddy cop movie, remember that time I realized what buddy cop movies are when we were watching Bad Boys?
Yes. Yes.
If
Painfully.
you want to know more about buddy cop movies, watch Bad Boys.
Production! Distributed by Universal Pictures, known for such classics as Casper, Balto, and of course, you know it, Dragonheart.
Yes.
I almost sprayed water into my mic.
Yep. Director
Yes.
Edgar Wright, known for Shaun of the Dead, Spaced, and Straight 8. Producers Nira Park, known for Gone, Shaun of the Dead, Skip to the End. Tim Bevan, known for Smokin' Aces. Shout out to Smokin' Aces. Way better than it should be. High Fidelity, Bridget Jones's Diary. Eric Fellner, The Guru, Love Actually.
Check out that episode.
Johnny English. Writers, Edgar Wright, known for Alexi Sale's Merry-Go-Round and Shaun of the Dead. Simon Pegg, known for Funky Pete, Fun Dead, and Shaun of the Dead. Cast, Simon Pegg, known for Doctor Who, Mission Impossible 3, and Big Nothing. Nick Frost, known for Spaced, Penelope, and Fighting with My Family. Bill Nighy. Oh yeah, I was like, is he in this one? Yes, he's the Inspector General. About Time, Astro Boys and Valkyrie, and Martin Freeman, known for Shaun of the Dead, Ali G, Into House, and Love Actually, with a cast of many others we could name. Jim Broadbent being one of them. Shout out, one of my favorite films in high school was Topsy Turvy. Highly recommend it.
And Timothy Dalton.
And Timothy Dalton, James Bond.
James Bond.
Bound.
And
Do you want me to do the last part? The release date?
Sorry. I just got so caught up in the cast that I forgot that I'm still working. Release date was February 16th, 2007 in the UK and April 20th, 2007 in the US. Runtime is 121 minutes. Budget was $16 million with a gross of $80.7 million. Rotten Tomatoes score is 91% from critics based on 204 reviews, and 89% audience from 250,000 plus ratings.
This came out on 4/20 in 2007.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blaze it up.
It's just about to graduate high school.
Hot Blaze.
So now
with that.
we're done with all the non-spoilery stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to spoilerful West Side Country
Yeah.
village.
Yes.
Stanford.
And we're going to be talking about our favorite parts, favorite characters, our qualms, and then finally we're going to rate it.
How many characters?
Two.
Other than the main two, we'll do two.
Other than the main two.
Other
two.
than the
Okay,
main
so
Got
3
it.
total.
Great.
Yes. No, what?
No.
3 total.
2, but you
Two.
can't name the angel or
Danny.
Angle.
Angle. You can't mention
Wow.
angle.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Danny.
Let's try to get
I'll go first.
Yes, favorite part.
My absolute favorite part, and is when they're at the play and it goes into the musical number and it breaks to Nick Angel and he's like, because have you ever been in a theater and it does and they in a show and they do something and you're like,
no.
This is why I might have avoided going to the theater for many years.
It's not that it's just like if you go to something and they like massacre something and you're like,
and I love that they're doing the Romeo plus Juliet costumes too, which is wonderful. Which shout out to Baz Luhrmann who directed that, who directed Jim Broadbent in
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge.
I'm sorry I didn't get the memo about saying Moulin Rouge at the same time.
It's okay. Yeah, it's
Well,
it's,
once Baz Luhrmann enters your life,
we like to play a game called 3 Degrees of Separation with Jim Broadbent. Yeah. So you have to find a way back to Jim Broadbent.
But Caitlin, the only thing that you feel is the separation.
I do. I'm just the separate.
So I that's a laugh out loud part for Dana as well.
So the play.
It's just that specific. I mean, the rest of
reaction.
Here we are.
and I mean, the whole scene is wonderful, and it's just before they die. The actors are murdered, but it's just that particular thing. Just knowing how that feels. He's a cultured guy too, and he's just like
pained. He's pained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like that through the whole thing, but it's that change when they go there. He's just like. I just love it. And the guy's still asleep behind him.
I mean, anyway. I think this is an overall thing. I just really just like Nick Angle. I just like what happens to him. Like things are happening to him, right? And it's one of those things that like you're not supposed to have that in a story of a protagonist that's not pushing the plot forward. But when the deaths start happening and he starts doing like the Barry Allen thing of like, this isn't a suicide, this is a murder. Yeah. Then he really starts pushing the dialogue and the plot. But everything, taking Danny on as, a sidekick, as a drive on, going to the play, even though he doesn't want the tickets. All these things I really enjoy, like going to the kids and having to tell them about what it's like to be a law enforcement officer. And it's that I just like his plight in that way, where it's like he is, as Caitlin said, stripped away from the glory of being a London cop to officer to being in this in this sleepy village. Yeah. So I just like that because it's how does he dealing with it, like the loitering, the kids at the pub, and I just like how does he handle these situations, and all of them are all bits of like he is technically doing everything by the book, but the way that you just feel the story is gonna like no, that's not gonna happen.
That's
for
not
you,
it.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go
even
to that
when
play.
he's chasing the
goose.
No, not the goose.
The swan.
Stop. When he's chasing the shoplifter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in your heart, like they're just gonna let him go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It is what it is.
They absolutely are.
They got other plans for him.
Caitlin?
Don't they?
Yeah. The gunfight.
Yeah.
The gunfight.
The shootout.
The battle for Sanford.
Yeah.
The battle for Sanford. So good. Stop this mindless violence.
It also reiterates what they were talking about in the pub, where everybody and their mom
has a shotgun,
is strapped.
Yeah.
Like,
and then his mom is strapped.
And they do literally everything that he asks him in the car. You ever jump through the air while firing 2 guns? You ever have a chase while firing 1 gun out your window? They do every single one, which I think is wonderful.
Every single thing.
Not a word is wasted in these movies. Any 3, but especially this one.
Good.
I was going to say there's this movie you would have to watch dozens of times to get all of the because in last episode talking about Shaun of the Dead, we talked about the foreshadowing and callbacks. This one takes it to the next level, and you can go scene by scene, back and forth from the end of the movie, and go, they're referencing that, they're referencing that, and it's just like there's so many playbacks of like everything is referenced. Mostly everything is referencing something.
Even at the end, the little kid, like
Aaron
the town.
Aronson.
Aaron A. Aronson is in a miniature version of the town. So in a way, even Sanford is being referenced within the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's
But also
the model village.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's a model village.
Nothing ever is wasted, like with the mine, that comes in later on too, and like all the weapon and contraband that they take. Like all of it's fun when you see that the third act stuff pays off from all the stuff they did in the first and second act. Corey?
You guys have named a lot of my favorite parts, but the Andes coming into every scene, especially the really famous one where he comes back into frame a second time once he leaves frame. The Andes. I mean, the Andes are phenomenally written and acted characters that, you know, they don't push the plot at all. Like, you could have the same movie without them, but boy, do they
add that
something to every scene that they're in. And I just imagine that the two of them had so much fun playing those characters too.
I found out, like, there was an interview with Rafe Spall, and he was asked, "Who's your favorite actor?" And he said the character's name is Paddy Considine, who plays the other Andy, the older Andy.
Yeah,
and he was like, he's one of my favorite actors. So to get to
work with him,
and they're like the dynamic duo kind of thing.
And he's in a lot of Simon Pegg stuff.
Yeah,
the older Andy. Yeah, I'm just excited every time they're on the screen. And then, you know, how well they help out in the gunfight in the supermarket with the knives and everything. It's just
it's all right, Andy. It's bolognese.
Yeah, it's bolognese.
I do love the older officer who's just like, what do you say? And then they have that at the very end where he starts translating, and Danny's always in the middle of it. But then it starts getting to the point where it becomes facetious because we could pick it up. We know what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's good because again, it plays off in the beginning, and then
in the moment with what's his name from Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Filch.
Yeah, Filch. I'll kill it.
Yeah.
But
it's like, yeah, do you have a print for that gun? This one.
This one. What does it mean, this one?
Man, that's so real, though.
Yeah.
Out of the country.
Yeah. Stopping to get the swan in the middle of everything.
Oh, my God.
Choice. So choice. So choice. Yeah, I mean, I can go on for days. The reference to never taken a shortcut before, and how it played out in Sean, and then how it plays out in this. Brilliant.
Oh yeah,
rule of threes, baby.
The guy who has this one, that's Stephen Merchant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, hey. But also,
what's his name? I see, or what is it? It's
like rear ender or something like. But as Caitlin looks it up, I do want to mention I do love the fact that Yarp. And like, so to me, rewatching it for this episode, I was like, holy crap, that's the Hound. That's Game of Thrones, man.
Oh my God.
And it's like, I'm so glad he had it. But he's definitely had a career before this. So I was like,
Yarp.
But also, I mean, Olivia effing Colman, who this was her debut, and now she's an Academy Award winner.
As the cop who slept with everyone in the station.
Who's just all sorts of innuendos and everything.
Yeah.
She's just, I love her in anything that
fantastic.
she does.
If you've seen Fleabag, she's terrible, but wonderful, but terrible.
Something I had to point out because as the credits were rolling, it blew my mind that the music supervisor for this and Shaun of the Dead is Nick Angel. That's where they got the name from.
Oh, brilliant.
I had no idea.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I did not know that at all.
Double checking. But music supervisor on Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Peter Ian Staker. P.I. Staker. Piss Taker.
Yeah. There it is.
And
you got a shout out to the Peter Jackson cameo.
Oh,
did you catch it?
Santa. Yeah.
Stabbing him in the hand.
And then Kate Blanchett in the CSI
Never
scene.
see her face.
That scene cracks me up because I love does he look like a guy that I would date? And then the guy next to him is the one, but they look exact. But I love his, hello.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
I mean, we're all focusing on the village. Steve Coogan.
Yeah.
All day. It's like, do you want me to get Chief Inspector? Do you want me to get Inspector?
You really do.
He comes in. He's like, yes.
He's going to say the same thing that I do. And he starts off with the same thing.
Exact thing.
And then it's like, you want me to bring this up to Chief Inspector? And it's like, yes. It's like, Chief Inspector. Yes.
And Martin Freeman's like, you did. You told me. It was Janine. It's like,
he's screening my calls.
Yeah.
Absolutely enjoyable. And I mean, I think to Corey's point, editing stuff, this is something that's paraphrased plenty of times with the transition from Simon Pegg's character going from London to the village.
The passage of
time travel and all that stuff.
The cell, the cell service.
Cell service and the taxi lights changing
but also the cacophony of music, a sound, right? It's like boom, 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 all this stuff. The rain's happening. It's all happening really fast. Versus, you can watch plenty. Sorry for the shade. Netflix original films. They're just like, here's a shot of the bridge, and there's the shot of
the car.
The city limits 500 miles. It's like they're going somewhere.
Yeah,
and they play let's play the pop song from this decade.
Yeah,
and then this was like, it's done in a way where I think people. And this is maybe me. I don't want to say that we're all super intelligent here and have a chip on our shoulder, but I think there is something that a more film literate audience would appreciate. Like, I think to pure enjoyment of like listening to like, oh, they're playing the Jason Derulo song. It's like, you don't really need that. You like it. It feels good.
Yeah.
But this year's like, oh, it's richer on text.
Yeah.
Like, again, they avoid things like not having the phones featured too much.
Yeah.
And even then, he's a cop. Why would he have to have the most sophisticated phone? So it's still kind of plausible that he would have a Nokia phone.
Yeah.
So it's those kind of things where it's like, yeah, it doesn't go out of its way to super date itself.
Yeah.
And even when they do make those movie references, they're all old films because this kid or man-child had watched a bunch of these films.
Yeah.
So it's like, I absolutely love it where they're not like, yeah, in the episode of, Love Island, it's like, oh, God.
I love that scene when they're picking a movie and he's like, I don't know which one. And he's like, no, which one do we watch first? And I've had that movie night when somebody comes expecting we're just going to watch one. I'm like, no. We're watching both of these.
I'm in it for the long
just
run,
pick
bro.
which one we're starting with.
I do like in that scene where by the power of Grayskull, like
Yeah.
how he picks it up,
Yeah.
and it's all part of that narrative of like Nick Angel having to grow up by
Adapt.
Reigniting the fun and whimsy he can have. Like so, and that later on goes into like, yeah, I'll have one drink and then have another drink, and he ends up playing watching TV and movies and stuff like that, and they actually have a friendship there.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if you ever go to a pub and you go and you ask for wine, I just love that they were like red
Or white.
or white.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Pub.
yeah, it's a pub.
I'll have a lager then. I mean, another favorite part of mine is and its callback is the ketchup packet bit.
Oh my God.
How quickly he does that is startling. Hey,
my
check this
God.
out. But then the callback later on where he gives him his notebook in the pocket and that's where he stabs him. And I think it's a wonderfully written bit of film there to just take something so mundane and silly and make it into an integral part of the story. It's a good writing challenge.
Man.
And the way, sorry.
The way that Nick gets this whole storyline, goes through all these newspapers, does all the right things as a police officer, finds out this like crazy Scooby-Doo whodunit like
Land ownership.
land ownership. This person's related to that person. Is like, no, they just sucked.
Yeah.
That's why we killed them.
Yeah.
They're just bad.
Yeah.
We
The
hated
house
them.
doesn't.
It looks gross. Like, what are they
didn't match
thinking?
They killed
The aesthetic,
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed Bill. And he's like, wait, what? Shakespeare.
God, and what's the phrase that the shop lady, the plant shop lady keeps saying every time she mentions someone's name? She say, God bless him.
God bless him.
God bless him. And he said, God bless him. Loved that.
It's like that. or
Definitely
bless
known
their heart
people
or
who,
something.
bless their heart or something like that.
God rest him.
Also for the
God
greater
rest him.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the greater good.
And him getting Danny a peace lily
Oh,
is the sweetest thing. And coming back to tell him, I was getting him a peace lily. You were? Heartbreaking. In a good way. Like very like, oh.
and when the mine goes off,
Oh yeah.
and he gets shot. Sorry.
I was just the way the character of Danny was handled.
Oh.
I mean, you think
He's a puppy
this.
dog.
I like the way that somebody broke it down. That's oftentimes people judge people that are naive as dumb, when really they're just innocent. He has an innocent view of life of what he thinks it should be. It's a small town.
Because he kind of knows what his dad's been up to.
Yeah.
But he's just like, no, I thought it was all for good reasons.
And if you're watching him specifically, he adjusts his language based on what Nick tells him. He's carrying around the handbook for being a good cop.
Yep.
Like
Officer.
officer, thank you. He's changing. And he's trying to be,
growing up.
because he wants to be a better. Oh man, his comedic leave when Nick loses his shit at him in the rain, and he's like, he kind of almost does that.
Yeah, the run with the monkey.
Yeah, with that monkey.
You can't switch off.
You have to
long
watch
run.
it. You have to leave it.
The long shot, baby.
You leave it there. 5 seconds of magic. I
And
promise.
to your point, that just plays more into your point about the editing and stuff in this film. Film is a visual medium. Play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play with it. Don't do the same shit everyone else does. Like, have some fun with it. Get creative. There's so many things you can do that aren't just a car on a bridge heading left to right.
No matter how good this script is, if you shot it boring, it does not have the same effect as it has. Like you could have. It's like, you don't know how to switch off, and he just runs off and you never see that shot. It's a different scene. And so like if you don't have like the intercutting between them watching a movie, or I don't know if it's them watching a movie or him taking Danny home when the mansion explodes. It's a different movie. And so it's very nuanced and it sounds pretentious, and I apologize, but it's like, if you just wanted a good story, go read a book.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have the visual element in there, and that comes from director.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sound editing for all that, like you mentioned, with the train sounds and the different cars' doors shutting and opening during their transition. It's littered throughout the whole thing.
And also with what's the term, like, when the Andy what is that? What would you call that in a sound effect, a design?
Yeah, so it would be sound effect, sound design. I mean, it's all, the whole soundscape is the sound design of it. I mean, they make things that shouldn't be focused, like even just Foley sound effect that you're like, that shouldn't even be as loud as it is.
Yeah.
But they're drawing focus to it to amplify the importance, or even just to draw your focus from something else that's happening, or just, I just love their sound effects for transitions, and like you were saying, the goom.
Yeah,
it's just.
I don't know. He leans back in.
I don't know if I'm Mandela affecting this, but like when Timothy Dalton says like, I have a bulletproof alibi, and he has a picture behind him, is there a ding when he smiles?
I think there is, yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised.
Sure.
And so that's the thing too. It's like, it's the control, like, of not making everything, like when someone falls, you don't do whoop whoop whoop. You have it's going loony enough where, like, oh my god,
just an accent, just accents the moment a little bit. It doesn't pull you out of it.
But then you highlight how, oh my god, Timothy Dalton's such a good bad villain guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
he's
god.
He's pretty much twisting his mustache.
Catch me, I'm a slasher.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow.
Of prices.
This, I mean, they have I think it's the musical theater in me that appreciates like the buttons, like what you were saying, like the boom.
Oh, yeah.
Ding, like those kinds of things are just like, but the other thing I was going to say is, like, if you get a chance to, anybody at home or at this table, like looking up the behind the scenes, and there are some video blogs that were filmed during this that they just had, every single person that worked on this had fun.
Yeah.
The props people, set dressers, everybody had fun. And that was really cool to see, like, everybody just getting along.
Dream team.
Yeah. They were having a good time. Everybody that was on sets, like, understood the humor and what was trying to be achieved. It's just like
Fascist.
yeah.
Oh yeah, with the crossword. I mean,
And then it comes back in. It's so good.
To that point, like, if you look up just the blooper reels for that, and then you see like the line that Nick Frost and Simon Pegg had the most trouble on was, where do you propose to go? Pub?
Yeah.
And how much they messed up on that so many times. I was just like,
I don't know.
pub? And that's the thing where it's just like, it's the spray on deodorant. It's like
It's his facial expression.
Yeah.
He doesn't break eye contact.
Yeah. But then, like, how, I don't know if, listeners out there, if you've ever had that experience of someone looking at you dead eye, like, and then it applies spray on deodorant, you just can't look at them in the eye. It's not a thing.
It's so funny that like the smallest things can actually be the absolute hardest things to do.
100%.
So much.
100%. Favorite characters that aren't Danny and Angle.
Yes. Angle.
I mean, the Andes.
Okay. There it is.
1 and
That's
2,
both
baby.
of them.
That's as simple as that. The Andes, I feel like, stole every scene they were in. I want to see a movie. I would see, like, you know what? I would want to see a mini series just called The Andes.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst
see that.
detectives that exist.
Go ahead.
No.
It's like a
If you
Mr.
already know.
Magoo type cop film written and directed by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg with the Andes.
I mean, I did like, so my two, obviously, because I'm an evil man, Skinner,
Okay.
because he's the evil boy.
He's amazing.
But also it's Timmy Dalton. It's The Living Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think so. It's
James Bond.
It's James Bond, who way before his time. He was the original Daniel Craig. I'm sorry, Daniel Craig, you're great. You're flowers, but like his films were darker in that time.
It's Timothy Dalton.
It's Timothy Dalton. He's also the Professor Man in Doom Patrol.
day.
Yeah.
But he's just great too, because it's like, I didn't know. You're an actor. When James Bond, it becomes like, oh, you're known for that. Like, you think they're only playing suave men, but he's great. And also his whole, ouch, this hurts, I really need ice cream. I'm like, I love that he doesn't die from that, because it's like, this is realistic.
It's amazing.
And I'm like, yes. And that, I love
injury,
that.
though.
I love that the film takes the time to kind of like, okay, cool, we're gonna disillusion like the mysticism around like being a police officer and all the action, all that stuff, and then real stuff happens. Second, Tom Weaver, aka the Neighborhood Watch.
Yeah.
And this for me, I loved it just because like.
Why Tom Weaver?
Well, it was funny because I was like, oh, of course there's a guy named Tom. But then like,
Oh.
no, it was more like, oh, because he has this entire like, I'm watching the eyes like, oh, they have, and then the police chief is just like, we like to make sure they think they're in charge, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh
oh,
my
that's so
God.
good. But then when it's discovered that he's also part of the cabal, and I was just like, oh, of course. And it's like, I don't know, I just loved that. And you for me, I was like, watching it again, I was like, I forgot he was part of the cabal. I was like, I hope he comes. Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, he's here to save the fuck.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say. I just drew a blank. Never mind. there was someone I had in mind for you, but no, I can't remember it now.
Journalist?
No. We'll come back to it.
Messenger.
Kill the messenger. Kaylin?
See, my picks were Danny and Angel. But they can't be.
Yeah.
Nope.
So now I'm all like, oh no.
Josh.
I'll go.
Yeah. Save me.
I mean, I love Simon Skinner. I just think he's just the perfect cheesy bad guy. And Timothy Dalton. And when it hurts so bad. And anyway, there's ice cream.
Yeah.
And I love
the punishment
Doris.
of cake and ice cream is fucking hilarious to me.
PC Doris Thatcher, which is Olivia Colman. I'm a sucker for her. She's just an amazing actor. Actor still applies. She's just amazing and just comic timing and she's wonderful. Funny to watch.
Yeah.
Now Caitlin.
Now you have time. You've had
Now
time.
you have to.
Yarp.
Yarp. All right.
Yeah, I love
Armstrong.
I love Michael. You're like sad for him, but at the same time you're like, you chose this though.
Yeah, because they give them the moment. Like, are you sure you don't want it? Yarp. Oh shit.
And yeah, I do think Doris is hilarious.
There you go. All right, we did
Oh
it.
yeah.
So now we go into qualms. So only two per person. Who
Yes.
wants to go first?
Not I.
I'll have one.
Yeah, start us
Have
off.
one. Have one.
And these are qualms. And so if you're not familiar with the show, they could be dumb shit, like the one I'm going to say right now. It's the one thing that burns in my eye all the time, and it's the cornetto in this episode in this film because they break continuity.
I knew.
Oh,
'cause they're eating it.
I noticed
no,
it
he
too, and I was
eats
like,
it.
Tom's gonna hate it.
And the thing is, like, I don't hate it, but it's just like it just becomes like your mole. That
Yeah,
becomes a thing. It's
yeah.
like if it's food and you
He
fuck
eats
with
it, it's gone, and then they
the
go
next
away.
shot, and then he still has it in his hand. I'm like, God, just
Yeah.
And like, but the thing is, like, I notice that he's taking nibbles out of that. No one eats a cornetto like that. Like, because it's not even like, you can savor it and like have a little chunk, but he's like trying to make it last throughout the scene.
Right.
And so I'm like, I
For
understand
the other takes.
And so I'm like, I get it. I see it. But then all of a sudden, like, he pops it in his mouth and I'm like, okay. And then it comes back and I'm like, God bless. God bless Edgar.
Everyone.
And so that's the one thing I could honestly say is probably like a qualm in this movie. Other than that, everything is completely enjoyable.
Okay.
Josh, Caitlin.
Oh, you know me. I got
No
none.
qualms. Yeah.
I watched this movie 3 times to prep for this. Because
You didn't watch it 3 times to prep. You watched it 1 time to prep and 2 times to enjoy it.
No, I watched it 3 times to make sure. I was like, do I? Nope, I don't have any qualms.
Do I like this movie?
Do I,
I
though?
do.
Yeah. I don't really have any. I don't have any specific qualms with this film.
Look, if my biggest qualm is a continuity, then
Yeah.
we're in a
Then
good
what
place.
right does Corey have to have any qualms? Right, Tom? End all be all, Tom?
Well, no, that's you don't have any.
I
issues
decide what's important.
You have no issues with continuity. So if
No, I don't.
If no one's popping off and being like, yeah, this, I'm like, all right, this
I
is
don't
not
have
really
any
anything.
continuity problems. I as someone who edits, sometimes that's the best take you got, and it may not line up with the next one, but or maybe he didn't finish it in another take, and they're like, that's the take we're going to use, and then you get it in the editing bay, and the sounds doesn't work.
Yeah, I was just
And
gonna
you're
say.
like, well, we got to use that other one then. So I can't knock it too much for that. I don't really have any.
Kaylin?
I have one. It's actually a pretty big one.
Okay.
I'm not watching it right now.
Okay. There it is.
That's great.
That's the Qualms.
Solid.
Yeah, it's a big qualm.
Nice.
So it sounds like no one has it. No one has any more.
No.
Other than Kaylin's fake one and my dumb one.
No.
Wow, rude. I put serious consideration into what my qualm is.
wrote that
Tom.
down.
I wrote it down in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So move on then.
Yeah,
To
I would
our
say so.
rating.
Rating.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So who's
Josh is first.
I'm first.
With
It's
no
a,
ratings.
It's
a five.
Okay.
It's a 5.
Next would be
And then
me.
Corey, it's a. Is it not a 4.9?
Is it?
I think it might be.
It's a 4.8.
Ooh.
I don't. I can't. Other than just putting it up against the other
It's just
films. in
enjoyment.
this trilogy. Yeah, it's just a sheer drop of enjoyment for me. Not that a 4.8 is still a really high score, but this between Shaun of the Dead and World's End, there's just a few things, and I'm just like, I'll be honest. I like Simon Pegg, but I don't love him as the straight man. I think he's wonderful. I think he's amazing in this. I wouldn't cast anyone else, but I enjoy him more as the kind of sillier,
but also a little bit more human.
Yeah, a little more human, and he gets to play a little more.
Yeah,
and I get to see that in the other films a bit. So
May I
that would be
comment
it.
on my rating a little bit?
Sure.
For me, there's just so many technical things about it that they achieve that I was just like the editing, like the sound design, like the very Edgar Wrightism that I love so much, that there's just so many things that like I mentioned in Shaun of the Dead, and the kind of comedy that I appreciate and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's a home run.
Yeah.
For me.
Great. Next would be Tom.
Me. This is a 5 for me.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, Kaylin.
Yeah, right.
You were the one
got
who was
it.
mistaken.
Didn't I pick Corey?
No, but you were. No, you picked me.
No, she picked me.
Oh.
I picked you, and Josh picked you.
Oh.
I reluctantly picked you.
I picked Corey,
I
knowing
picked you,
the answer.
I picked you with the preface of, I think this is wrong.
To me, I like it when I see actors kind of doing something different. So like, I think I talked about this with like, I don't know, last example would probably be like Dave Bautista being like a sensitive man in Army of the Dead. And I'm like, I want to see something different. And like, this was kind of like, oh, he's normally like the guy who is part of the jokes and stuff like that, but like, straight man to, comedy. So it's like, I enjoyed that a lot. And then also I just really, really found it efficient of that. Just like Spider-Verse, it's two characters trying to become Spider-Man. And then here is two police officers being better police officers. Yeah. And that also means being a better human in that way. And I don't have a glaring, that's not real moment in this film where it's like, oh no. But here I'm like, yeah, it and that's the thing too. It also plays within its genre in a way where it's talking about like the exaggeration of action films and action stories and police officers. But also it takes part in it and has fun with it too. Yeah. So
you can see the love that they have for those types of movies.
But I mean, like the entire beginning of the film, you're at least for me, I'm with Angel and I'm being like, yeah, Danny, you live in a fantasy world. Like this is what it really is. It's paperwork. It sucks. Like you don't realize that so many people don't want to do these things because of the amount of paperwork they're gonna have to do for that. And then at the very end, you know that this is a film and it has to be a story and there has to be some kind of release, a catharsis at the end where it's like you do get the payoff, and you can quote unquote have the cowboy justice,
all doing paperwork together.
Yeah, and so I really really enjoyed that so much because it bends reality and then plays with the reality and then also comes back to reality. In its own way. So yeah, again, this is what I am at, like I think of the Cornetto trilogy.
This is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaylin.
What do you think?
5.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. When I
Yeah.
smacked the bottom of the table, it's a 5.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't think I'd smash the window by throwing my chair behind me, I would.
Wow.
I would throw it.
Also, I
Yeah,
don't know
then
if
you have
it's
to
a
pay for the
5.
repair costs.
Exactly. So I can't. I
not a
can't.
great
I'm
thing to do.
not going to do that.
I don't know if you
so know that it's a 5 because I feel viciously strong about my 5. I love this movie. I want to watch it again and again and again, and that's how I feel.
I don't
and
know.
I will.
Also, I don't know if you know how to make a 4-point something with your fingers and hitting the table.
I can actually, but
Okay. Well, I want to see one of your
So
fingers. become
shout
a
out to
decimal point.
Liam M for voting for me
Nice.
on the Patreon.
and
I mean,
You got it right.
Here-
And Caitlin.
Here's the thing. You're a grump with a 4.8.
Yes.
We don't go
yes.
into our anniversary episodes like
Yeah.
not picking something like
Man, this is
when
the
we pick
movie
the
I hate the
topics,
most.
we all usually are like, yes,
Let's
we need to
cover
do
that.
Like it's just like it's
Hot Rod 1, 2, and 3. Let's do
yeah.
that.
there's only
only
one.
one.
Thank God.
Oh. Well, everybody at home,
I'm the grump.
you are the
Da-da-ba. Who out of y'all who guessed it? And write in the comments.
And also, Nation, please tell me why you voted for me, because I'm honestly very curious. Because I know that I'm sort of a dark horse sometimes, where you never
Sometimes
know.
violence can get you.
Sometimes
Josh,
violence-
and there is a lot of
yeah,
violence in this.
there is a lot
Someone
of
gets
violence in
stabbed in the
this.
neck with shears and bleeds on a window.
Right. Some strawberry jam.
that would be my
sputtered around.
guess.
Yeah, probably so. But I'm always curious as to what if you had seen it specifically, you were like, oh, Caitlin's
Yeah.
not gonna like that. I want to know. I want to know.
Bring me
I
home,
wanna
Daddy.
know.
Oh,
Yes, Eddie. Everybody at home, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you're not watching or listening,
That was for Julie.
I just asked a question. If you're not watching or listening, I was like, then we don't exist to you.
Piss off. Jog on.
No.
In the
Thank you for finding us in the ethereal
exactly
plane.
in the future.
And hearing us. No, thank you for hearing us over the earbuds of the person that's next to you.
wow, nice.
We appreciate you. But in all seriousness, do check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all of the information on everything that we do. It has all the links to all the social media that we do. All of our episodes are video, so check them out on YouTube. If you like what you hear today, stop by, rate and review, share us with your friends and your family, and like I said at the top, do consider joining that Nerd On Nation. It does allow us to grow. It does allow us to be the best that we can be and upgrade our content.
Just 4 quarters, baby.
Yes, very close to our next goal, where the nation will get to choose a topic for one of our episodes. So if you want to be a part of that decision, very important decision,
Yeah.
4 quarters.
we put a lot of thought into the decisions of our episode topics. So if you want to be a part of that,
Yeah.
go join the nation
Nation.
and check out that Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. There it is. Appreciate you all. Take care of yourselves. You know the drill. As always, Nerd On!
Ending broadcast.
We should play this game, Corey, and we can get people involved called Gardic Phone. It's telestrations
Lord.
online.
Oh, yeah. I love telestrations.
I
and-
love that Tom got tired of drawing dicks.
I literally was like, guys, I'm really tired of drawing dicks. And we were just
It feels
We were
like
crying.
a
We were
reality
crying
that
the
can't
entire time.
happen.
Tired of drawing dicks.